So now that you've got some tension on it, let's grab your big bar and let's feel. Certainly rotate a little bit. Did you just see that?
Yeah, what the hell?
See what? Stand back for a second. Good morning. It is way too early to be awake, and the sun is not even considering coming up just yet. But I've got a 4-hour drive because I'm meeting up with a friend to work on a big cemetery project today that she asked me about, and she needs some help. So let's get on the road, let the sun come up a little bit more, and then I'll talk to you a little bit more about what I've got going on.
So here's the thing about old cemeteries that most people don't even think about. These monuments, the really big ones, the obelisks, the ones with the statues on top, they're not one solid piece of stone. They're stacked. Multiple sections, sometimes 5, 6 individual pieces, sitting on top of each other, held together by gravity, and honestly, sometimes just good intentions. And after 100+ years of freeze-thaw cycles, settling ground, tree roots, doing their thing, they start to lean, they start to shift, and eventually, if nobody does anything, they fall. And when a 1,000-pound stone obelisk falls, it doesn't just break, it can take out everything around it. I had some friends reach out for some help on a monument, so I packed up the car, drove out. Well, we ended up having to improvise a little bit.
All right, we're back. The sun is up. It's a couple hours later. I've had my morning coffee. We've got a costume change in as well. We're doing good. Like I said, 4-hour drive. It's a ways. We're headed outside of Decorah, Iowa today to visit my friend Janelle. She's got a team that does some work in cemeteries. She has been like one of my longest followers out there. She's been amazing. When I first posted on social media, she was like right there following and being a cheerleader. So you see her in the comments a lot. She's just got an awesome personality. So a couple of months ago, Janelle messaged me and says, hey, I've got this headstone that we're gonna work on, but it's a little bigger than our tooling can allow. So can you bring yours and come help us out? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. It'd be super fun to hang out. So that's what we're gonna do today. Not exactly sure what we're getting into, but we can handle anything, right? So we should be at Janelle's house shortly, and we're gonna meet up with the rest of the crew, and then let's get this headstone work done. So you guys, I've already been talking about Janelle in the car. She's been one of my longtime followers.
Yes.
So you can already see one of this amazing personality that she's got going on, and you've seen her in videos before.
Yes, you have.
But she's got a team.
And
come on over here.
Come nerds. Don't let me be the only awkward
So
one out here.
this is the Cemetery Nerds, and this is one of the cemeteries that's like literally right behind Janelle's house.
Yep.
And apparently this is the stone.
This is the stone.
It's big.
It's been driving us insane.
How did you stumble across this thing?
Well, because we've straightened lots of stones, like all of them in this row, and this is the only crooked one in the row for one thing. But no, we started working up here. I'm on the board up here. And when we first started the business 6 years ago, hey, where do we start? How about we start someplace where we know they need help? And so this is where we started.
You started in your backyard.
In our backyard, exactly. And then across the road, there's a cemetery over there too. We've done a bunch.
So you want to level this puppy out.
Yeah.
And there's a concrete skirt around this.
So if you look, grab on, you can put your fingers underneath. So we should be able to.
Should is the famous last words.
The reason we have you up here is to get that thing underneath it. And
so as I eyeball this, it's got to come. It's stuck in that back corner there. So
when we took our pictures last fall, this corner was not underground. It is now. So it's obviously sinking. Yeah. And either way, this is too tall for our tripod. We could have taken the little deal off the top.
Yeah.
To lift it.
Yeah. This is a heavy stone.
Yeah.
Because it's, I don't know, is that 14 inches?
Sure.
Something?
We could get a tape measure.
It's gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Yes.
It's got that tapestry across the top and the tassels.
Yep.
And the finial is actually
it's still there, right?
And it's all totally complete.
Cool.
Okay, so let me walk you through what's actually involved here, because it's more than you'd think. Step 1 is excavation. You have to dig down around the base to see what you're actually dealing with. Sometimes the foundation is a poured concrete pad. Sometimes it's just a couple of field stones stacked up like You know, they set a 1,000-pound monument on some packed dirt in the 1890s, and they called it a day, which, honestly, respect the confidence. Step 2 was supposed to be my tombstone jack system, which is, well, where we had to improvise a little bit. You see, somebody thought it would be a really good idea to pour a pad around the base of the headstone and turn it into a big monolith. So it makes our job a lot harder. So we turned step 2 into step 2 plan B and enlisted this help of a steel tripod and chain hoist, because really I had no interest in taking it apart at all.
So basically all we do is we just pull these pins, but we're not using it, so we're just going to pull these out. But I wanted you to see that that's how that works.
Be any gain to use it impact on those at all?
I have one with you.
He-
So I was out at the National Cathedral a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And I got to
watched you.
tour behind the scenes from the earthquake repair. And so if you think about an earthquake, it comes from the earth and it radiates out.
Yeah.
And no different than a monument here, if it's coming from the base and you're making a movement here, it's going to accentuate it up here. So the taller you go, the more movement in feet, a degree or inches, a single degree of movement would be. So this could not be that much off, but if this is really tall, it's leaning really good. And
Right.
so
For sure.
in the cathedral, when I was up with the Masons, it was all about those waves that were radiating up into the pinnacles. And because those are individual pieces, they shimmied and shook and fell off and broke and all that. And that's the same here, is where you've got the finial up here. And that's where it can start radiating. I wasn't sure how many incremental pieces there may or may not be. So that's where I think about using an impact.
So if you're the kind of person who finds it weirdly satisfying to watch heavy things get carefully moved, hit subscribe, because I film a lot of this and I'm not planning to stop.
The goal to start with is just to find the concrete, the bottom of the concrete, wherever that lip is. That's the goal to start with, and we'll work from there. My concern is this base here, because it looks like they've kind of maybe poured it to encase it.
I know.
So we wouldn't be able to get this part up.
Separate them.
It's possible. I just don't know. I mean, I'm trying to look at it going, did they encase it or did they just set it on top of them? I'm assuming they encased it. What we're looking for is this lip right here. Now, if they did just a kind of a soupy mix, they probably just laid it right on top of the rubble. So if we lift, it's going to want to try and grab some of that field stone and all that, because that's all just loosely packed in there and
tightly right here.
well, that's concrete.
Think so?
Yeah, basically, you were talking about your angles before.
Yeah.
About
They did a great
the
job.
level
with
of pouring. Well, it's thinner here and thicker there. This is roughly 14 inches. Call it 4 foot tall, 800 pounds, 700 pounds just for this piece here, which is fine.
Then I got it turned.
All right, guys, here's what we're looking at. So originally what we were thinking about is using a jack under here, but we need a lip, and that's only a couple inches. This is a foot or so, but it's on too much of a slope to be able to get the jack in. Over here, we can do it.
Just a quick note. If this video is making you want to organize a cleanup at your own local cemetery, well, I built a free kit for that, a guide. It's called the Cemetery Cleanup Day Organizer Kit. It talks about the permissions, the supplies you're going to need, the volunteers, how to coordinate them, really the whole day. I have additional resources for you over at millennialstonecleaner.com. The link for everything is down in the description. So back to the reset.
And I'll come up to you first. I think it's the aim. You think so?
Yeah.
Did you get the chain hoist on there?
Well, how long? See, I was giving him a ladder and everything.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah. Go around this entire stone.
Can we connect an 8 and a 6?
Sure. So here's the other thing that we can do. We can do this.
See, look at us learning new things today.
Now, The issue with this, though, is we have to dig down because we can't choke her off of this corner, because if we
No.
put pressure on that and we lift, well, it does look like they actually buried this in concrete.
I think it's puddled in there.
I think it's puddled, because I'm considering putting tension, on.
Right, on that very bottom part.
Yeah.
Do
In
it.
order to do this the right way, we got to get down all the way around so that it's going to grab underneath and not just a single lip.
This is the grave of Josie Bacon, who was born Josie Dibble. She was born July of 1862 in Minnesota. Her parents, George and Maria, had come out of the Northeast, Vermont and New York. They were chasing, frankly, the same thing everybody was back then, a fresh start. George was a farmer, and he and Maria were raising 6 children along the Iowa and Minnesota border, between Fillmore, Houston, Martin, and Faribault counties. They moved wherever the work was. And Josie was daughter number 4, and by 17, she was already a school teacher in Verona Township.
How does it feel?
Sounds heavy.
Yeah, it's tight.
I haven't seen anything shift just yet. Okay, so before we go any further, the process, as you've experienced, is gravel. So if it's starting to lift it and it's moving, we should stage gravel in place.
That's what's going to
Because
be my next.
I don't want tension sitting on it any longer than we need to.
Yep.
Less danger, more better. So now that you've got some tension on it, let's grab your big bar and let's feel for where that's opening. And then that bent angle will help push it. So get it as far as you can with a little shovel, and then we'll push it with that bent angle.
On March 16, 1884, 21-year-old Josie married Dexter Bacon. Dexter was 32, a New York native who had come to Fillmore County as a teenager to work on his father's farm. They settled in Newburgh, about 130 miles from where Josie grew up, and then, 1 year later, almost to the day, March 15th, 1885, their first son, Guy, was born. Their second son, Ray, arrived on March 10th, 1889. Their wedding, Guy, Ray, all in March. Every milestone that family had, all in that same month. 6 months after Ray was born, on November 9th, 1889, Josie died in Newburgh. The death certificate listed the cause as heart duress. She was 27 years old.
So let's start on that side where you guys are at. We'll work there and then we'll come back around. I don't want to hit anybody's fingers.
So, if you were wondering why you were missing one.
Well, I can feel it through here on my foot.
When he does that?
Yeah. Let's just call it high enough here, because you're already a quarter bubble past. So I'd rather pack it, let it down, and see where we are, because we still have to do a whole other side here yet.
I could let it down. I don't.
Okay, you can
stand here.
just maybe a chain link or two at a time, and we'll go.
Now, Josie actually never lived in Iowa, but the Hesper Public Cemetery was less than 10 miles from Newburgh, just across the state line. So that's where Dexter buried her. A year and 8 months later, Dexter remarried. His new wife was Hattie Bacon, a first cousin once removed, and together they had 2 more daughters, Florence and Helen, born in that March. That pattern, again, March. So here's where the story takes a little bit of a turn. After Josie died, her oldest son, Guy, stayed with Dexter. He was 4, old enough to be, a little, independent around the house, but only by a little. And the baby was only 6 months old. And back then, a working farmer with no wife really didn't frequently care for an infant alone. So Ray went to live with George and Reddy Thomas, extended family on the Dexter side. The Thomases didn't have any children of their own, and they lived right there in Hesper. Guy grew up with his father and his new stepmother and half-sisters. Ray grew up a few miles down the road with a different family entirely. Same county, close enough to see each other, but separate lives.
Like it'll certainly rotate a little bit, but not the.
Oh,
Did you just see that?
yeah, what the hell?
See
Guys,
what?
Stand back for a second.
What happened?
So it moved a little bit that way.
Yeah, your bubble.
So let's rig it with where we are right now, since we've got the lip exposed. Here's what I'm thinking in my mind is we just leave the tripod and we just lift from here
Oh,
because
Okay.
we still need to shy this side up.
Yeah, for sure.
More, Janelle,
You need more?
a little bit.
A little bit. Okay, hold on. Like that. Is that too much?
It's fine.
I'm just gonna put tension on it, Katie, so you don't lose it.
Tighten it up like all heck. More tighter, more better. Hold on 1 second. I just want to get a reference point. But the back is still down. We still have ways to go.
They done some gravel in with it,
Nope, not yet.
or am I being
Too optimistic just yet. We got to go past.
It's tight.
So that is what I am worried about. That piece right there. It's the ratchet strap could catch it, but if that relieves tension. Hold on a second, guys. Just pause. Yep. We got a lot of bubble yet to go. Holy goodness. Before we go too much further, let's come back in and excavate more here. So I pause, and you can start to see where we need to excavate. So I'd come back in with shovels, because I don't want to get it too high, just freestanding. But you can see now where we got to remove material, because that's where we got to add more stuff. So just be careful of the straps, so no shovel points, because that's no good.
We don't know what those relationships looked like day to day. What we do know is that when Ray grew up and had a son of his own, he gave that child the middle name Dexter after his father. And when Ray died, every single one of his siblings was listed in his obituary. All of them. The ones he was raised with and the ones he wasn't. So whatever the distance that there was, the thread was really actually never broken.
It's there where I'm going there.
Well, I'm just, no, I'm just saying, excited about guess that's the key for right. Okay. I'll mess around with it, see if I can figure it out.
I'm going to grab a different bit. Janelle, you want to just watch? So once he touches that line, we can stop. And then I'm going to grab another bit and we can help compact.
Okay.
Yeah, let's throw another bucket in there. There's a little flat.
Oh, look at that. Oh my God. I love this thing. So cool. I didn't even know this kind of tool existed. That is freaking cool.
Why are these bubbles not the same? Is your level not?
It shouldn't be. Or
Not
is
level?
that rock not level? The base.
Well, no, because put it down again. Let me show you. So you see how this one is a full bubble, and that's like
Is the concrete.
and it should be, flat the whole way, right?
Flip it
Well,
over, does it make a difference?
It does. But the level itself should just be super flat. So there shouldn't be
Shouldn't be
a difference.
any issues.
See?
Yeah, that's right. Well, maybe
Can you grab my 2-foot one that's underneath the camera there?
maybe our levels.
I was like, what happened? Thank you.
Say about all the stones we've done.
That's why I like my little one.
Okay, so that's what I wanted. That's exactly what I want.
So we're pretty
The
close.
left one on that one's good. The right one wasn't working. So that's exactly what I wanted. So, yeah.
Where did this come from?
The nerds.
The notes.
I like where this is sitting here.
Okay.
From a front to back perspective. It's just this back corner. Now we just need to do it again and tip it front. And then we'd be done.
No, but we're moving it back over where it was?
Yeah,
Where
so
are you moving
the
it?
pick point just rotates back to
Yeah,
where we started.
got it. Okay.
And then we're done. It's easy. You want to take a little bit more off and just let's...
Oh.
Yeah, see, it fell too much. So we'll pick it back up again. We got to pack more. So let's raise it back up to where it was.
Yeah.
So, Janelle, if you want to grab it.
Here you go. Yep. You got it.
Keep going. Keep going. Good. Leave it there. Yep, leave it there. So now we just have to excavate this and pack gravel, because I guess we didn't.
Yeah, we didn't get anything on that under that end.
Just mind the straps
Yeah.
as we dig, and then we'll add gravel there.
All right, so you move, my love.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Whoa, baby. There we go.
So Janelle, I didn't ask you back on camera, how did you start this business? You said, was it 6 years?
Yeah, it was 6 years. So
What prompted you guys to start?
So the three of us are all on the Winnebago County Pioneer Cemetery Board. And we learned how to do stuff, went to seminars, learned how to do things the right way, and then work in the Pioneer Cemeteries. There's 44 in Winnebago County. And we were constantly, especially after we got our new tripod, having people come up and say, well, my mother's stone is bad, my grandparents' stone is bad, we need somebody to do this. Well, the Winnebago County Pioneer Cemetery Commission can't do that because they're a county-funded entity.
Yep.
And Holly and Stacy and I kept saying, we should start our own business. We should start our own business. We should start our own business. And then we just finally did it. We bit the bullet, and Dick built us a tripod, and yeah. And then the rest is history. In the first year, like I said earlier, the first year, we came and presented to both the Hesper Lutheran Board and the Hesper Republic Board, because I'm on both of those boards. And we got them grant money, in fact, actually, to help pay their bills.
Uh-huh.
Because little cemeteries don't have any money,
Right.
That's the other thing, this perpetual, you come in and buy your plot or whatever, and that only lasts so long. And these, they all have investments and that kind of thing, but that's not perfect either. So anyway, that's where we started, and we did, I don't know, however many stones the first year. We had enough stones the first year we paid off all our equipment.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, so we were pretty busy. But yeah, so that's kind of that's the beginning story. And we've been busy ever since. All over the place. Word spreads fast. Good news and bad news. And this is our...
You want to try this?
Oh, shit, yeah.
So basically, I'm just using that to plunge in, but this, if you put pressure on it, it will rotate it.
Okay,
because it
gotcha.
moves
That's why you've got
freely.
okay.
But you can hold it like this.
Yep.
There's a little lock here that you've got to slide over with your thumb, because otherwise it's the
Oh,
trigger's
got it.
locked.
Okay.
So you got to slide that with your thumb to depress it.
You hold it while, okay.
And then to engage it, you have to put pressure on it.
Oh, fine.
So you can't just do this.
Right.
You've got to actually have pressure
Have pressure
down.
on it.
So let me see if it's got enough juice. Yeah, have at it.
All right. Okay, honey, here we go. Start saving up.
So just normal, like your normal shovel. Just dive it as shallow. You want to go firm.
Holy shit, that's fun.
Yeah, right.
That's really heavy.
Here, I'll keep going with you.
Wow. That's not too hot.
Jill, I'm gonna have you try another one. This packer.
Oh, okay, cool. Two.
So same thing, just a packer plate.
Same deal.
So
Okay.
have at it.
Okay. I can't believe it. What a project.
So that's kind of what I typically look for, at least when I do it, is the part that we fixed.
Yeah,
I want that to be a little high because I know it's going to settle a little bit. So I try and aim for kind of really what you've got there because it can still lose some because it will.
Yep.
And then the same thing here. This was the low part. And so that's kind of what I was aiming for because that will settle more. And this was our high side.
Okay.
So that's about what I shoot for-ish. It's never going to be perfect.
Sorry, it's got a little clip.
Because I know it's going to sink and compact
Thank you.
over time. Here's what I always look for. So I've got that angle, and then I've got here. And what I look for is the part that I raised up.
Yep.
I want it to be a little higher because it's going to sink back down. So
yeah, I guess that makes sense.
The back side here is what we raised up as well as that side. So the fact that it's touching there and on that line, that's ideal what I want because I know that this is going to settle.
Josie Bacon was a school teacher from Minnesota who died at 27 and was buried across the state line in Iowa in a cemetery she probably drove by, but really never would have expected to be buried in. 135 years later, her monument was leaning. It was leaning pretty good. And so that's what we're here to fix.